How's it going, everybody? We're on episode 6 on the Blog Talk channel. Jesus, I didn't think we'll make it this far this fast, but the channel's been going good. The videos has been going extremely well. I am very surprised. I thought about me just voicing my opinion and just talking about certain things that I went to experience when I was younger was just gonna get like a little bit of hits, just a little bit of, critique, criticism or whatever, just how to deal with it and just oh my god, I can't believe you actually experienced this stuff. But no, it actually gotten more hits than I expected. So I'm gonna have to thank you fans for this, seriously. But this next podcast I'm gonna be posting is very different. In fact, it's not just about me witnessing certain things that I've been through as a young person growing up. This is something that I have experienced in my own terms that really like traumatized me. In fact, me talking about it and me thinking about it, just what I went through, it still bothers me. And that's why I have to warn you guys, because I've already posted it. I've already did the podcasting, but thanks to me and my friends, we've had to do some editing. And when I was listening to it, and when I was hearing myself talk as my friends was listening to me as I was being recorded, they could tell. Well, I can tell that certain things that I was saying was very graphic. It's it bothered me just expressing this stuff because I rarely hear myself talk, you know. So when I was listening to it, I was like, man, should we edit this out? But a few of my friends, Hannah, Jonathan, I'm gonna have to thank you guys for it, really helping me get through with this and getting the editing processing done. Cleo Thompson, all you guys, Mimi Gonzalez, thank you all so much. But there was like, no, I don't think you should, edit all that stuff because, you won't be honest, to express how you really felt and what you experienced when your ex was trying to do that to you, when she was trying to kill you. So I was like, you know what, you're right. Because if I'm trying to put this stuff out there, I shouldn't have to restrict certain things that I've been through. I should, voice everything out to you guys, the fans. So, which is, again, why I'm here, because I need to warn all of you. It's going to be some graphic detail about the experience I've been through, some images to just so I can sink you guys in of what I've experienced. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty dark. I recommend you guys to not look at this or listen to it, late at night. Please don't do that, because I'm just trying to help you guys out here. It's really that terrifying just listening to it. But anyway, enough of all that. You guys been warned. I hope you guys enjoy the video, if you can enjoy the video. And yeah, that's about it. Let's begin. Hey guys, how's it going? Now, normally I like to talk about certain things when it comes to people going through certain problematic situations of how to deal with bringing people in their lives and stuff, and what happens when they go through certain things and they get signs thrown at them. Like there'd be signs from God telling them that this person may not be good for them, this person may lead you to the wrong path and stuff, and they see these signs, but they're not fully aware that those signs are trying to save them, and it may end up costing them their future. It end up costing them like something that they really care about, or sometimes even their lives. I like to talk about certain people that I've known who've been through these things and make examples out of them. But this podcast will be about me going through these experiences as well as a young person. This all started when I was 19 years old. I was single at the time. Just got my driver's license too, so felt good to drive around finally free and just, get to see the world from my own, two eyes. One day I was in Walmart, and then I saw this female that was working there in the cashier register. And I didn't really pay no mind to it. She just said hi to me. I said hi to her back. How's everything going? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about you? She said, oh, I'm doing pretty good. She worked the night shift. So after I bought my groceries, a few weeks later, came back, saw her again, rinse and repeat. And then after that, we ended up talking and talking. And she ended up making me her familiar. We ended up exchanging names. And after that, we ended up being cool with each other. Her name was Simone Williams. Who I'm going to take you guys to a ride on this one. I don't even know if I'm ready for this. But anyway, let me just try to get this out my chest. So anyway, Simone Williams was the very first female that I've had a serious relationship with. I've been in the dating world a few times before I met her, but not as serious as her, because she was also, well, not only that she was more sophisticated than I was, because I was only 19, but she was in her 30s. She was up there, and things hit off pretty well. Well, that's normal for every aspect of meeting different people. You're gonna meet somebody, and then you're gonna shake hands, and you're going to see how you're doing and all that stuff. I mean, being polite is basically a common factor when you meet somebody new, right? But when we began to start dating, I was beginning to learn certain things about her. When I've asked her out, when I was at Walmart, I was just asking her where she was from. She stayed near the area, but she said her problem, the problem is that she has transportation issues. Sometimes one of her coworkers has to bring her to work, take her home because she doesn't have a car. So I was like, okay, cool. I just got a car. So she was like, all right, So she said transportation won't be a big deal, since we kind of lived in the same area. So we began to go out and stuff. Me and her began to, I began to pick her up and everything, just the normal stuff. And we went out to a few places, but then I was beginning to realize that this lady, she did not like it. She don't like going out that much. She's more of a simpleton. She just likes to just chill and relax and stuff. And that was actually pretty fine with me. I'm more of an indoor person as well. I'm mostly a gamer. I'm mostly an inside guy. And she says that she doesn't really play games that much. She's not really a gamer. She just like to just sit in the house and just catch up on things that she normally likes to catch up on. And I've asked her, like what? Like what things do you like to do? Well, she says she does not like, she doesn't really have any hobbies. She just likes to clean, like to watch TV and stuff, catch up on certain things that she missed out on. She doesn't really have a lot of friends, if not any friends at all. This is what she essentially told me. And I'm like, okay, that's odd. That's weird for a woman. But, in this modern age, a lot of females don't have a lot of friends these days because, people like to tend to express themselves way too soon. And that's when they get hit with the with the reality check. And even I've been through that for a few times. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So we can just focus on each other. So even if she did not like to go out as much, I still wanted to show her a good time. But she just did not like that. She just wanted to just stay home and just wanted to just hang out in the house. And I thought that was a problem. I mean, when I was single, I like to stay home, but that was because I was single. Since I'm in the dating world now, I wanted to, expand my horizons. I wanted to try to, go out there and have a partner with me. But she didn't want that. She wanted things to stay the same, and she wanted me to be there with her as she was experiencing these things. And I didn't think that was right. I kind of feel like if you're gonna date somebody, you need to learn how to change certain things just so you could see what the person is all about. I'm not saying change your personality. I'm just saying like just trying to express yourself by letting that person express what they want to do. Correct? But she didn't see it that way. And by me being young, I wasn't at this mature age yet. I was still a little ignorant. I was still, a little hot-headed. So I wasn't at that age of trying to read the thoughts of how people present themselves. So I just went along with it. I was like, okay, cool. A few times when I would go to work and I'll be on my way home, she would always want me to come to her house. And there'll be times when my car would break down because I had an old car. I had an old beaten up car, and I would have trouble paying for it. I have problem. I used to have a problem saving money, a lot of money, and she knew that, and she would normally help me out. And I wouldn't want her to do that. I'm like, Simone, please don't. I got this. But she was like, no, I can see that you don't have it taken care of, so let me take care of it. And it would be, some people say that would be romantic. Some people say that would be taken advantage of. But look, I agree with the taking advantage of part, because I feel as if I just met this woman and she's already throwing her back for me. I mean, this was like the second week we'd been together, and my car breaks down and she's already like she's it's not like she's helping me out. She's paying for the whole thing. She told me to keep the money, I'll pay for the whole thing. And we're talking like at least $300 or $400. I'm like, what in the world, And I began to tell my friends about it, and they're like, man, you must be dating a keeper. And I'm like, and I was beginning to feel good about it, but at the same time, I felt like something wasn't right. I'm like, man, I thought we supposed to stay together when it comes to us dating. I mean, we friends do this, so why can't we do it when it comes to us being in relationships? But I saw what she was trying to do. She just wanted to make me feel as if, she was there for me. And I wanted to do the same by just, trying to contribute and stuff. And even when I be at her house, even when I try to be at her house and, try to help her do certain things, because like I said, she was she's into cleaning up and stuff. She wouldn't want me to do that. She wanted to do everything on her own, and I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? It's like she wanted me to do everything she wanted to do, but I can't like throw myself out there to lend a hand for her, or if I want to do something that's in my standards, she didn't want to do any of that stuff, and I thought that was crazy. That's where the confrontations and the arguments began, when we was beginning to express our differences. And we would argue a lot. We would have a lot of arguments. And the crazy part is, I argue with a lot of people when it comes to expression and stuff, but with her, it was weird. Like it was very, very weird. And I would never understand why we would argue. It would be like me closing the refrigerator door in a certain way. It'll be about me, just letting the window a tad bit up. Like it'll be no problem, and then she'll make a big deal out of it, and then she'll just take it so personally. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, what is up with this woman? I thought it was the age at first, but people that I know that is her age or a little older, even they said that that's just crazy. But I've forgotten all about that. But she would just go ballistic for no reason, and then she won't even apologize for it. But then she'll be cool. Like, she'll just be hot steamed and then just yell and yell and yell and just scream and scream and scream. And then a few seconds later, she'll just be a completely different person. And I'm like, what in the world is wrong with this woman? you know? But then again, my age, I didn't think nothing about it. So I just let it all go. Until one day, my friend was getting married. His name was Tommy. And he was throwing an engagement party. And I wanted to go. He was like, look, I'm throwing this party at this place or whatever. Hey, you and your girlfriend can go. Now, they never met Simone. As many times I wanted them to meet her, she would always say no. She would always say, no, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't want to go or whatever. You go ahead and have fun. So then I told her about the party. I was like, hey, look, my friend Tommy, he is beginning to have an engagement party. Would you like to come? And she was like, he's getting married? And I'm like, yeah, would you like to come with me? I mean, I want them to meet you. No, I'm okay. I'm all right. So I'm like, okay. So I knew that was coming anyway. So as I was getting ready to leave her house, she was telling me, what time are you coming back? And I told her, I'll let you know. At first I gave her a time. I told like around 10 or 11 or 12 o'clock. If I'm going to be back later, then I'll let you know. And she was like, okay, cool. So I went, and me and my friends was busy just having a good time, just talking and stuff. And then it was getting close to 8:30. So then she calls me while I was at the table with my friends. And then I answered the phone, and I accidentally put it on speaker. And then she just immediately just started yelling and just screaming, like just completely out of the ordinary, like, and I'm like, what is going on? And then all my friends like, what in the world? Like, she just busy cursing and just saying, like, where the fuck are you at? Why ain't you at home? And it's not even 9 or 10 o'clock yet. And I'm like, why is she doing so? I'm feeling so embarrassed. So what happened was, I told my friends to hold on a second. So I ran in the bathroom, and then that was when I just had it. I just tore her a new one, and I was like, look, who you think you're talking to? I had to put her in her place real quick. Like, I had to like just literally just shut her down. So after that, I just told my friends, look, let me go home, go on and head on out of here. And then they was like, okay, cool, So they already knew what I was going to do. I was going to go to her place. So I went to her place, and that was when I confronted her. And I just told her, look, don't ever disrespect me like that. I'm your boyfriend. Like, who you think you is talking to me like that? And then she literally just grabbed me by the arm and then just started pushing me. And then she just started screaming and just started yelling. And then every time I tried to say something, she would just get even more louder and louder and even more louder. And the way she was looking at me as she was screaming, and what she was saying wasn't even making any sense. Like, she was just bringing up stuff in her past. She was just, I don't want to put her business out there like that, but she was just bringing up stuff in her past and stuff, how her boyfriends used to treat her like that or whatever, leave her alone and stuff. And I'm trying to tell her, hey, look, that's all in the past. And if they left you alone, they left you alone, but you didn't want to go with me. I offered you to come with me. You did not want to go. And then she just still kept yelling at me and screaming at me. And then that was when I was beginning to notice that as she was busy pushing me and just screaming at me and just being just completely out of control, I noticed that her, hold on a second. When she was busy yelling at me, I noticed that she was beginning to, like, her face was beginning to turn very red. She was beginning to be very aggressive towards me, and her eyes was beginning to like dilate. Now, you know how when people get completely angry to the point where they just go completely like out of control, or they just, like they eye color sometimes changes. That, I mean, that really happens.
I mean, I know a few people personally that gets that mad, and then all of a sudden, their eyes can turn green to blue. Sometimes the atmosphere can do that too. But with Simone has blue eyes. But then that day when she got mad at me for the very first time to that extent, when she was just getting like when she just gotten out of control, her eyes was just black. And when I noticed this, I was like I was like in complete shock, and because I've never seen anything like that before, and I just felt uneasy. She was still yelling at me and just screaming at me and stuff, but at the same time, my mind was black because my mind was completely blank. I just couldn't. I couldn't believe like how aggressive this woman was towards me, just because I told her what time I was coming back and stuff, and she wouldn't even pay attention to that. So then I left. She didn't kick me out, but I wanted to leave the house, and she didn't want me to. She immediately called me back right before I got in the car, and she told me she was sorry. And I went back in the house. Now again, like I said, I was normally I would have just left her like that, but me being young, I wasn't getting the idea of just knowing when enough is enough. So when I got back inside, she was asking me, what do you want to watch? And I was like, I don't want to watch anything. I just want to go and lay down. I want to go home. And she was like, no, just stay here. And I'm like, why? And she was like, just stay here. I want to make you something to eat. And I'm like, why you? I'm like, that don't make any sense. So I told her, look, it's already late. I'm tired. And that was when she got mad again. She threw the pan on the floor, and then she got close to me again. And then that was when she started yelling and screaming. And then she pushed me again. And at first, like I said, I was shocked. I was like completely on pause when she did that. But then that was when I got mad. And then that was when I just told her, look, I am your boyfriend. Stop putting your hands on me. Don't you ever put your hands on me again. And I told her, look, if we're going to keep going through this, then I just don't want to, I don't want to have anything to do with this anymore. I told her that straight up because I told her, look, you're mad because I went to a place that I told you that I wanted you to go with me. And you all of a sudden is mad about that. That don't make any sense. Again, she still kept talking over me and talking over me and talking over me. And I just left. I just left the house. Just like that. I just simply just left. And I haven't spoken to her in 4 weeks after that. She hasn't called me either. And I didn't think about it because I was still just in shock of that day when we had that argument and just the way how she was looking towards me when she was just yelling at me and stuff. I've never seen that before. And I even told my friend John that. And then he was like, dude, he was like, nah, man, that ain't, nah, seriously. And I was like, yeah, like I told him maybe it was the lighting of the house. But as many times as we talked or just even had like a little argument, that never happened. But how come that day when she really get full ballistic and just go out of control, she would look like that? And John was like, man, you just exaggerating. So by him telling me that, I felt a little good. I felt a little better about it. So then he asked me, are you going to try to talk to her again? And I was like, no, man, I think we're all set. I think we're done. She hasn't talked to me. I haven't talked to her. So a week after that, when I was at home, I was just busy, just busy watching some stuff and busy just catching up on my daily routine. I had been receiving phone calls, and from unknown numbers. Now we all get crank calls. We all get like different numbers calling us and stuff. But this time it was a little bit different. Like I would answer the phone, and no one would say anything. I would hear some noise in the background as if somebody was watching TV or something, but I wouldn't hear no one speak. I'll be like, hello, hello, is anybody there? And then again, I would hear the TV in the background on the other end, but no one would say nothing. That would happen a few times a day. So eventually I would just stop answering the phone. Whenever I see a number that I won't recognize, I just won't even answer it. So then one day I went to sleep after I came home from work, and then I woke up one morning and I was getting ready to get, the mail from outside. And then my neighbor came up to me and he was like, "Hey, Hugo, how you doing?" And me and him, we haven't spoken in a long time. And I was like, "Hey," I thought it was weird for him to come up to me. Normally when somebody hasn't spoken to you in a while and they come up to you, it's because something's going on. So I was like, "Hey, what's up?" So he was like, "Hey, was you here yesterday? Was you at your house yesterday?" And I'm like, "That's a weird question. Yeah, I was at home. Why?" He was like, "Well, last night around, around late, man. It was like around 12 or 12:30. I went outside, to my garage, to the yard, to take my dog out, and I seen a car drive to your yard, drive right by your yard, and I couldn't see who was in the car, but whoever it was stopped right by right by your garage, and they was looking right at your window." And I'm like, "What? Are you?" I'm like, "What? Are you serious?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm serious." And I didn't say nothing. I don't think that person saw me. But then when my dog started barking, that was when whoever it was who was in the car looked at me and they just drove off quickly. So I'm like, "Dude, do you know who, do you have any idea who that could be?" And he was like, "Nah, man, they had tinted windows, man, but I can," he told me that he can tell by the way how the face structure was in a car that they turned around and looked at him and they drove off. But I was like, "That's weird." And he was like, "Yeah, man, yeah, that never happened before, man. The reason I said that is because we live in a very sociable neighborhood where when stuff happens, we have to let each other know, so it's it's not natural for that stuff to happen at our neighborhood at all. When we see stuff like that, we have to let people know or call the police." So I just thought that person was lost. I wasn't paying no attention to it. But then that same night, when I invited my friend John again over to my place, and then John left, he had to leave because it was getting a little late. And then as I was busy, just wrapping things up in my room. Now my yard, my window is right by the yard. I live in the first floor, so I have a clear view of the yard. So as I'm getting ready to close my windows, this was late, like around that time, around like 12 or 12:30, I saw a car ease up past past my yard just a little bit and then stop. Now I'm looking at the car, and then I'm seeing like little lights flashing inside the car window, but it wasn't like bright lights or whatever. It was like neon lights or whatever. I think that it was like somebody's phone going off. So I'm trying to get a good look of who it is, and I saw, it's hard for me to explain, but it was definitely a woman in the car. I will say that it was definitely a woman in the car. Now, was it Simone? I had to think real hard about it because it was a little far for me to see her from up close, but it was definitely a female, and she noticed that I was looking at her too. Now, normally when people do stuff like that and they get discovered, what do? They probably, they duck or they probably just run, right? But that wasn't the case with her. when she noticed that I was looking at her, she just didn't do anything. She just stood there. She just looked right back at me. Didn't blink an eye or nothing. And again, I don't even know if it was her or not. And we're just staring back at each other. And that was when the fear began to, like that same fear I had when she was yelling at me the other day. I was beginning to feel that way again. My stomach was beginning to turn. I was beginning to feel uneasy. Just the way how she was staring at me. And I was feeling uncomfortable. And my shoulders, was beginning to stiffen. And I froze up. I did not know what to do. I did not know what to do. And this was the first time I've gotten terrified. And this is actually the first time I've actually been stalked. The phone calls, this. Now, Simone told me that she did not have a car. Like, she told me that she does not drive. So that's what made me think that that wasn't her at all. But the things that was going on after I left her, it's no coincidence. And that's when I was thinking to myself that is her. That has to be her. And then after 5 or 6 minutes, then she drove off. I told my friend John this the day after because I didn't even sleep that night. I didn't. I gave him a call and I told him about what happened, and then he told me, that can't be her. And I'm like, dude, it had to be. It has to be her, dude. Who else could it have been? It couldn't have been anybody else. I don't know anybody that would have done anything like this, who would have been calling me like this. And then she pulls up right by my freaking yard, and then not even saying anything, just sitting there, just staring at me back. I mean, that really made me feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what is this girl's deal? Something's not right with this chick. The way how she acts when she's just very angry, the way how she doesn't listen to people, and just that's not right. Now you know how you have people that would have sex or just have certain intercourse when it comes to being intimate, and they try to be romantic, and they would say, I love you very much, I would die for you, I would do this for you, I would kill for you and stuff. See, a normal person would be like, dude, that's taking it way too far. You don't have to say all that. And again, I was a young person, so me and Simone would say stuff like that when we get intimate. We would. I mean, I don't want to be too graphic with this, but I got to. But we will say stuff like this whenever we will get into these intercourses. See, I would say it because I would like to make it sound romantic. But the difference is she meant it. She would always say that. Every time me and her would talk, she would be like, I would do this for you, right? I would do this. I would kill for you. I would do this for you. Like, I would literally, like, give my life. And I'm like, what is wrong? At first, I was like, you know what? That's awesome. That's cool. I like that. But then it was beginning to bother me. And then when me and her had that argument, and the way how she looked at me, and then when I saw her outside of my yard, that was when I was beginning to realize, like, this something's not right with this chick. This chick ain't normal. So after that day, I was gonna call her. I gave her a call. At the very first ring, she answered. And, she was like, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? And I'm like, not so well. I had to be honest with her. So then she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'll get to that in a second, but let me ask you a question. I was going to ask her, was that her that was calling me? And was that her that was out in the yard? But before I got into that, she cut me off again. And then she tells me, hey, look, I know we haven't seen each other in the past couple months, and we haven't even made it official that it was over. And I agree with her. We did just got off, and I just told her I didn't want to see her, but I didn't make it official that it was over. But then she was telling me, hey, look, will it be alright if I see you again? We don't have to be together, but let's make this right. Like, how about you come to my place and I'll make some food, and it'll be nice. Just come over. We can just talk about it, and hopefully things will be well. But if not, then uh, at least we ended it in good terms. So that's the first time I've heard her be this sincere. So I fell for it. I was like, you know what? All right, sure. All right, cool. So then that night actually, when I came to her place, she made food as promised. She already had it ready for me. So when I got to the house, she told me to sit down. And then when I sat down, she had the plate ready for me. And then, she made some, she made me something to drink. She made me some wine and stuff. And as I was eating and talking to her, I was asking her, like, so I appreciate what you're doing, but, where do we go from here? Like, are we going to learn from the problems that we've been experiencing when we were together? She didn't answer me. She didn't say anything. She just looked. She just stared at me, like, uncomfortably. And I'm like, Simone, did you hear me? Simone. She didn't say anything. She didn't even blink. She just looked at me. Just didn't even say a word at all. And I thought that was weird. And I was beginning to feel uncomfortable again. And then after that, I just blacked out. I don't know what happened to me. I think she put something in my drink or the food, but she drugged one of those things. I ended up passing out. So then I was trying to regain my consciousness, but I couldn't move my body at all. And my back was feeling cold, so I was on the floor, and I had problems opening my eyes. Like I could not move at all. So all of a sudden, I felt like a heavy pressure on top of me, like in my chest area. And then all of a sudden, I was starting to have trouble breathing because I had asthma back then, and whatever it was on my chest was making it hard for me to breathe. So I was trying to gasp for air. And then all of a sudden, I felt like a tight pressure towards my neck. And it felt like I was being choked. And I was like, what is going on with me? I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't move. It felt like I was paralyzed. So then that was when I was like, is this girl actually choking me right now? And again, I couldn't do anything. It was a drug that she put in. It was a drug that she put in the food or in the drink or whatever. Now, people would say that their biggest fear is going to prison or, death when it comes. My biggest fear is something like that happening and you can't do anything about it. And that's what was going on with me. Like, it was beginning to feel like I was dying. I couldn't breathe. My asthma was kicking in, and my heart was pounding so fast, and I was gasping for air. And I could not move. I felt so vulnerable. It's like when you're paralyzed, and then when a person holds a gun right straight to your face, and you're looking right at that person, and you can't move, you can't duck, you can't talk sense to that person. Your life is at that person's hands, and that's what's going on between me and her. That's the scariest thing you can do to a man, is rip out his total well-being of control of himself. I blacked out again. And then shortly after that, I woke up, was gaining consciousness, and I was still on the floor. And she was nowhere in the kitchen. But there was a police officer there just staring at me while I was on the floor. And I was confused. I was like, dude, what are you doing here? And, he told me, look, an ambulance is coming, sir. I was going to pick you up, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know why you was on the floor. So I didn't want to pick you up to risk further injury. So I was like, why are you here? What happened? So he told me that they had a call from some neighbors outside that saw a female in the house strangling me. So when she noticed that they was looking at her, that was when she stopped and ran upstairs. So I was like, Jesus Christ. So then after that, I told them, so what happened to her? Where is she? Is she still here? They said, no, they took her in. When they came, she put in quite a hassle, but they was able to bring her inside the car. And I was just in utter shock. I just could not believe that. I was like, wow, I can't believe she actually tried to kill me. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. So then, I went to court because I had to get everything situated. I had to get everything. We had to get this settled. She ended up doing 7 years in prison because of that. Now, after that happened, I was going to let the whole thing go. But something told me to visit her. So what I did was, I paid her a visit because I wanted to know why she done it. I wanted to know why she wanted to do this. She didn't give me a clear answer. She just told me because I've always felt alone and you was never at the house, which didn't make any sense. I was always at her house. And I told her, hey, look, let's just get one thing straight. I was always at home. If I wasn't at home, then I'm at work. If I'm not at work, then I am with my friends. And the reason why you're not there with me when I'm with my friends is because you didn't want to go. Not because I didn't want you to. I never cheated on you. And if you didn't believe me not cheating on you, then what's the point of us being together? If you didn't trust me, then we shouldn't have been together. It didn't make any sense. She didn't say anything. She just stared at me. She didn't even say anything to me. So I just left. And honestly, even though she went to jail after that, that still wasn't the end of the story. I was traumatized because of what happened. I was actually going to get killed that day. I could not believe that. And it wouldn't leave my mind. There were days where I would be at home and I would feel like I'm not by myself. There were times when I would take naps and then I would have like nightmares of her and I would wake up having trouble breathing. There'll be times when I'd be in my room and then I would have like a big fear of that same car easing up down my yard, and just the way how she looked at me when I was looking at her, like that woman really messed up my mind. And that was even a dream I had. This is what really made me lose my shit. That was a day when I was getting ready to go to sleep, and right when I dozed off, I heard her voice, and it wasn't like I heard her calling my name or anything like that. You know how when you sometimes like outside or whatever, or if you're like in a crowd of people and you hear somebody yell out your name, but they may not have yelled out your name, they probably just yelled at somebody else. That's what basically happened. Like, when I had that dream about her, I didn't see her or nothing. Like, it was just pitch black, and she didn't yell my name or nothing. She just screamed very loud, like it was like a pain scream, like she was just in agony, and she just yelled. So when I heard that, I just jumped up out of bed, and I was just so frightened, because if when she yelled, and when she yelled to my ear, like I felt like the air like passed my ear, as if she was blowing breath into my ear. And I woke, it's like she was there in my room, and I just woke up, and I cut on the light, and I was just so terrified. Like, that woman really did scare me. And well, the dream scared me, and let me be honest, that woman scared the hell out of me too. And it wasn't normal. I had to go to therapy, because I could have talked to my friends about it. I could have talked to some people about what I was going through, but I was at that age where I was having a problem expressing myself. And every time I try to express myself, I'll get criticized, or I'll get put down. And I was getting tired of doing that. I only had a handful of friends, and I didn't want to keep bothering them about certain things I would go through, because I don't want them to think that I was a burden. So I was feeling like, you know what, I can't tell them, about this, and I can't tell anybody about this. So it was like, if I tell a random person about what I'm going through, I'm gonna get criticized, and if I tell my friends about it, then I would feel like that they would think that I'm just pestering them around or whatever. I didn't want to keep doing that to them, so I want to deal with it on my own. I mean, even when I was in court, I was by myself. When I was trying to get these charges out of the way, when she was going to prison, no one was with me. It was just me and my lawyer. I had to go there by myself. I'm sorry. Just give me a second. No, but they say that high school, grade school is the hardest days of your life. No, I think after high school was one of my hardest experiences, because that's when you begin to know how the world really is. That's when you really get the real bite of the real world, man. And Jesus Christ, dude. But I was on my own dealing with this, and it was driving me insane, and I just I couldn't bear to deal with it anymore. So that was when I finally told my friend Brian about it. And Brian, he was like the only person that I knew that had cancer, and he passed away shortly after he helped me out. But he was giving me advice of, dude, if you really going through this, man, you need to go through a therapist. And he was like, dude, I understand. I know you don't want to talk to nobody, because they may give you the wrong type of criticism that you need, and they might try to judge you, or just because here's the thing. If a female says that they're being abused, or they were getting close to being murdered, it's a big deal. But how come when a man witnessed that stuff, people just don't believe it, or they just laugh about it? Like, dude, seriously, come on, really? But they don't realize that by us men not thinking that stuff would happen, we're letting our guard down. I let my guard down. So Brian was right. I had to go to therapy, because it was just tearing me apart. So when I went to therapy, and I was telling the therapist, Jeannie, the situation and how it all went down, even she couldn't believe it. The parts where I was telling her about the whole when her eyes was changing situation, how she was just uncontrollably just yelling and stuff, and how she was stalking me or whatever. She couldn't believe that stuff. She's like, dude, like, that's crazy. And then when I told her the part when I almost got killed, when she almost choked me to death, she said something to me that really made me feel uneasy. And what she said was, wow, that's strange. Normally when that happens, because she said that happens and I agree, she said it happens on the news a lot, where women kill men when they're drugged or when they're sleeping. But difference is, they grab a weapon, they grab a knife, or they grab any type of object or gun or whatever, and they just end their lives. She said she was surprised she didn't do that to me. And she just tried to choke me. When she said that to me, that really made me feel, I really felt like I was in disbelief, because I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's, she has a point. Like, if she would have really resorted to that, like, I really wouldn't be here. I really wouldn't be here. And she helped me. It took 5 months of therapy to get over it, but I'm not really over it. I'm just at that point now where my guard is up to the point where I cannot let a female like that do that to me again. That's why I be telling people, and I even put that on my last podcast about people with anger issues. When people are like that, doing that to you, just acting a certain way towards you, disrespecting you, and just putting their hands on you, you need to get them off your back. Seriously. That's how I am now. I don't let no woman talk to me a certain way. I don't let, well, not just women, but anybody. Cause now I'm on very defense right now. Like, I do not want another Simone Williams in my life. I mean, even the last relationship I was in, one lady tried to snap on me, and I literally had to get on her case about that, and she broke up with me because of that. I don't care, because you don't talk to me like that. I am your boyfriend. Which doesn't make any sense when I see people, especially women, that want to be with men that's just so aggressive and just so tough, and just they're in gangs, and they just just hard or whatever, and they just want to act like they would just shoot anybody up. How tough do you want your man to be? And then some of you assholes want to have kids with these guys. Are y'all out of your fucking mind? People like that, you can't control. That's why I be telling y'all, when y'all see a female and she tells you, oh, well, I'm a little crazy. I have that's something going on with me or whatever. I'm not all there or whatever. And then y'all guys be like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If the girl is telling you that she's not right in her head, what makes you think you'll be able to tame that? If she can't control her own well-being, how are you going to be able to control it? Just think about that. That's why so many of you guys get killed. I even know a guy personally that got killed like that. Moved in with a girl, didn't even know what he was getting himself into. Difference is, he was messing around with this chick. One day she stabbed him right in the neck. So that's what I'm saying. And this friend of mine or whatever, well, we wasn't really friends, but I've known him. He lived all the way in Colorado. But what I'm saying is that when you are with somebody and they have these type of anger issues where they just willing to do anything to you without no hesitation, that's a problem. So I'm just saying this last segment to let y'all know, if y'all wasn't on dating somebody like that and you know that they have problems like this, you might as well kill yourself, because people like that is done. Put a fork in them.
I'll never smile again until I smile at you. I'll never laugh again. What good would it do? For tears would fill my eyes, my heart would realize that our romance is through. I'll never love again. I'm so in love with you. smile at you.